This is a true story about a time I went camping with my girlfriend and her family. Late at night, while we all sat around a campfire and enjoyed the peacefulness, I was surprised to see what I can only describe as a monster coming from the tree line. Without hesitation or thoughts of saving others, I jumped out of my lawn chair and ran as fast and as far as I could. As I hid behind some rocks for what seemed like hours, but really only minutes, my girlfriend's father found me and made sure I was okay, and walked me back to the campsite. We all pretended like it never happened, but my girlfriend did break up with me upon getting home, as she just couldn't forgive me for eating shrooms when I finally met her family. Getting back to the trip, after the incident, I laid awake in the tent, replaying everything in my mind. Confusion and embarrassment washed over me, making it hard to find sleep while the laughter from my girlfriend's family echoed in my ears. I couldn't shake off the feeling that I'd let everyone down. My mind wandered to the monster in the woods. Was it real, or just a figment of my imagination fueled by my reckless choice? Or was I in fact the monster? I could have been generous and split my shrooms and perhaps avoided what happened altogether, but like a cookie shroom monster, I ate the bag and convinced myself I was doing what was right because they tasted like athlete's foot, but deep down, I knew I wasn't trying to doing what was best for her. The next morning, I stole glances at my girlfriend, who seemed lost in thought, her gaze distant and withdrawn, further confirming my fears. The prior night wasn't just a bad dream. Finally, it was time to pack up and head home. As I loaded our things into the car, I could feel the heavy weight of disappointment settling between us. Alone with my thoughts while I loaded the car, I was left a hero. That would go unthanked, because ultimately, tragedy was avoided altogether. Driving home was a blur. The scenic route that once brought me joy now felt heavy with regret. The winding country roads, bordered by towering trees and dappled sunlight, only deepened my sense of loss and contemplation. A once fun road trip filled with games and laughter were now just aggressive words being thrown at me by my annoying passenger. Every mile felt longer than the last as I replayed our moments together, questioning where it all went wrong. My hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, knuckles pale against the dark leather as I wrestled with my emotions. I kept wondering, was her family so judgmental that they would dislike a 27-year-old kid solely for misreading the intentions of the shadows beyond? I knew the reality of things now that the fungi had worn off, and I knew that the carefree days of laughter and love had slipped away into the past. As we pulled into my driveway, my home loomed ahead, a place once filled with warmth that now felt cold and unfamiliar. A comfortable home that would soon slip back into a dirty and cold bachelor pad. The porch light flickered as if echoing the uncertainty in my heart, signaling the end of what had once been a vibrant chapter of my life. I sat in the car for a moment, staring blankly at the front door, grappling with feelings of sorrow and confusion. The reality that I might have lost her for good sank in, weighing heavily on my chest like an anchor. Taking a deep breath, I knew I had to face the consequences of my actions, but part of me hoped for a chance to explain, to apologize, and perhaps to mend what had been broken. Before I could say anything, the crash of her slamming the door echoed in my ears. As I slowly approached my front door, I looked back to see her lifting her heavy luggage into her trunk. I hoped it reminded her of happier times, when I lifted her overpacked luggage into and out of trunks. With a deep breath, the moment felt eternal, and I could almost hear my heartbeat, pounding in anticipation and dread, and I finally found the words and said, "I had a nice time meeting your family. Maybe we should make an annual thing." Lost for words, she simply drove off, sparring me from her usual dramatics. As I entered my home, a wave of regret washed over me as I realized she was gone and wouldn't be coming back, and some of my favorite shirts wouldn't be coming back as well. Late that night, my mind raced with words left unspoken, apologies that felt inadequate in the face of what had transpired. I shifted nervously, unsure of how to bridge the chasm that had formed between us, and if it was even worth the effort given her complete overreaction. Hours passed, turning into days and then months. And all without a word from her. Now, years later, sometimes I will sit and wonder if her and her family ever came to realize there actually is a small possibility that I saved everyone's lives that night.